Welcome to Coffee with Bridget. And today, the coffee that I'm drinking is Creme Brulee by Starbucks. And it's very interesting. I don't think that I'll probably get it again. I don't really like creme brulee as a dessert. But it was good. It's just not my cup of tea, I guess you could say, or a cup of coffee. So, the big news today is I did hit publish on the book, The Psychology of Magic. So that will be available on Amazon by Thursday. It takes about 72 hours for it to actually be released and populate on the website. So that's really exciting. It'll probably take a little longer for it to get to Goodreads. And then I have to claim it probably, unless they attribute it to me right away. It really depends. But I'm very excited that The Psychology of Magic is out. I was going to unbox the book with you, but unfortunately it came with some other things, and I didn't want to unbox everything. So I am revealing the cover art now. Isn't it pretty? The Psychology of Magic. And of course it says not for resale because this is my author proof. But it's got the crystals, which are for earth, the candles for fire, the incense for air, and the tea for water. So it has all four elements on it. And I really go through the different elements of the ritual in here. The psychology of scent, the psychology of touch, psychology of taste. It's all in here to kind of explain why all of that activates different parts of the brains and creates neural pathways that really help you to ground and center and cope better with the world, I'll be the first to say that, magic is in a way a coping mechanism. We reach for our stones. Let me get mine out. Right now I'm using Dragonstone. I've been playing with this for the last few days. And I love tumbled stone. Sometimes you can tell where the people who tumbled it, or at least who buffed it, because this one I think actually got buffed. You got a little place right here where you can place your thumb and hold it. And it's quite handy. It's a nice thing to kind of play with. So when we are looking for grounded, I want to say grounded ways of connecting and centering ourselves, psychology teaches us how to do that, and how magic really helps us to connect in and basically work with our own mind. So that was my purpose of the Psychology of Magic, and I'll read the back matter for you. Psychology of Magic explores the meeting place between ritual and the human mind, where crystals, symbols, intention, and story become tools for healing, grounding, and transformation. Blending spiritual practice with psychological insight, Bridget Corns invites readers to look beyond superstition and into the real mechanisms behind magical thinking. Meaning making, emotional regulation, trauma processing, and the power of narrative. Through accessible explanations and personal reflection, this book reframes magic not as fantasy, but as a deeply human way of coping, growing, and learning agency. Whether you work with crystals, tarot, prayer, meditation, or simple daily rituals, Psychology of Magic offers a compassionate framework for understanding why these practices feel powerful, and how to use them intentionally, safely, and with self-awareness. This is not a spell book, it is an invitation to understand yourself. Now, I think that's the important part of that, is this is not a spell book. My book, The 13 Moons, isn't really a spell book either. It's really about ritual. And Psychology of Magic is about how magic works, how ritual really helps prime the brain, how we connect with our inner self through symbolism. That's what the Psychology of Magic is about. And it is a pretty small book. You could probably sit down and read it in a day. But I wanted something that was a companion to the 13 Moons. Something that explained how the 13 Moons works. And the Psychology of Magic is basically that book. And when I was basically researching it, I learned a lot of different things. Now, one thing I don't mention in the book is the self-fulfilling prophecy and how that works, but a lot of my work is based on that idea that by planting different seeds in our minds, we can work with our intentions and create reality. The mind is a powerful thing. Belief is a powerful thing. When you believe in something to the core of your being, it becomes your reality. Now, for some people, their reality is different. They believe in other things. It's kind of like the God question, which is something that I'll talk about probably this week because it's been on my mind a lot. But, magic works for people because it is a practical way to work with psychology, to work with the mind. And it is a very powerful, at the very least, what is it I was going to say? At the very least, it's a powerful coping mechanism for the world. It's a placebo. It, instead of reaching for a magical bottle of pills, we can go to our sacred space and calm and center ourselves. And that is very powerful. Now, I am not saying that you should give up any prescriptions. That I'm not saying. I have my own prescriptions that I take. But it helps us connect in a way that doesn't require outside influence. And I think that's very powerful. That is something a lot of people try to make meaning in their life, and they try to have a approach, a philosophy to life that brings them peace. And for me, magic has been that method. And, working with the universal forces. I do believe in universal forces. I believe there are energies that do work with us when we open that door if we choose. And I've seen it have positive effects in my own life. I've had, a lot of things happen over the years, a lot of setbacks, a lot of moments that were out of my control. And magic helped me come back to my center. Magic helped me to reconnect with myself. And through it, I have a habitual cycle of self-care. And magic is absolutely self-care. And self-care is so important. Taking care of yourself, being in a position where you can, my little one, being in a position where you can self-regulate, these are really important things, and having a place to go back to, again, the sacred space where you can kind of go into the zone. You can make an offering when you're nervous or upset, just burn a little incense, light a candle for a few minutes, and these actions release chemicals in the brain that allow you to feel good, especially if you've built the neural pathways to say, this is what's happening now, this is what is occurring, we're connecting with ourselves. Sorry, my youngest was excited. We have silicone molds, and I made ice cubes for her, little snowflake ice cubes. She's been obsessed with those recently. She really likes the way that they melt on her tongue, I think, and she crunches them. She makes sure that I always make them for her. But these little rituals, these little habits, these sorts of things give our mind a place to rest. It builds neural pathways that say, okay, at this moment, I'm safe, I'm centered, I'm good. And you can always tell when she likes something. She goes, and that's powerful. And that's what the psychology of magic is all about. It's about how the brain works with ritual in order to create these sensations of well-being. And like I said, I go through sight, taste, touch, hearing, because we use the sound meditations. Like the last full moon or new moon, we had the steel tongue drum for Capricorn. These things help ground you in the moment, make you centered and present. And that's what the tools are for. They are a pattern making set of things that help you cope with life. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you check out the psychology of magic. Take care and bye for now.